Chris in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Matthew with freeprescriptionlenses.com, which happens to be not Tennessee. I am going to cut a pair of RayBans for you. They are, what are these things? It is the RayBan 7017, color 5200 in the 54 eye size. This is the tortoise with the gunmetal temples. Of course, your hard shell RayBan case, RayBan cleaning cloth, blah, blah, blah. Did you really want me to talk about the cloth? Because I will. It has a nice little soft felt to protect your glasses while they are in here. Okay, never mind. All right, back to the regular show. Your frame. Let's pop out the original demo lenses and get started. I'm going to take those out. Pop it into the tracing element edger and hit El Starto. That's a real technical term. I'm not really sure what that means. But this little stylus is going to come up and it's going to go around and trace the inside of the right side of the frame before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. They're just disappointed in the jokes that they hear during my videos. But there's nothing I can do about that. So, it has finished tracing the shape, and in just a moment it's going to pop up here onto the computer screen, the shape of the lens it will be cutting. And that is that. And as I mentioned, here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, when you buy an authentic, genuine RayBan frame or any others, you will receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. However, Chris is my 1 millionth customer, and he will be receiving these free. He also happens to be my wife's 1 millionth cousin or nephew or whatever she has in her clan. Unbelievable. I'm related to 5 people on this planet. My wife has someone in every state in this country. So, you will be getting these for free because you're a good guy, from what I hear. I don't know, but she's easy to fool because I married her, so she'll believe anything. So, okay, this is the shape of the lens we will be cutting. I would show you a button to show you both lenses on here, but it's not on the screen at this time, so ignore the information I just spat out. But that is the shape of the lens, that green outline. I'm going to go ahead and magnify it while I'm working on it. Your pupillary distance is 64, so you are 32 in each eye. The computer starts at 32.5, so I'm going to tap this minus button one time because it goes down in 0.5 millimeter increments. I do want to raise the optical center up in this frame. That's going to be at 19. Let me write that down. 19. So let's go ahead and get your lenses prepped. We will come down here. Today I'm being assisted by my lovely assistant Tina. She is reviewing and to making sure that all the information in this video is accurate. She's going to have too much to have to go through. Okay, your prescription. Plus 75 minus 1 at 180. Spin the axis wheel to 180. I know that looks like 0. 180 and 0 are the same number on a straight line. 0, 90, 180. Okay, you're with me? Alright, so plus 75. Let's turn the power drum to plus 75. Take the lens out of the protective packet. Put it in. Find the spherical component of your prescription. Check your astigmatism correction. That looks good. And now we're going to put 3 dots on your lenses. And they're a little bit too light for you to see, so I will darken these over a white background. Uno, dos, ocho. And I'm going to mark this one right. I just didn't know there was going to be so much math involved with this. So, your prescription for the left eye, plus 50 minus 75 at 180. Plus 50 minus 75, we're still on 180. I know, it's still on 0, but I'm calling it 180. Put the power drum on plus 50. Rotate the lens until the spherical component comes in clear. Check your astigmatism correction, which I will explain later on. Put 3 dots on your lenses. Uno, ocho, cinco. And we're going to label this one L, which in Latin means not right. And if you missed any of that, let me recap. Oh, and you thought you were going to get away with that one bad joke tonight? It ain't going to happen. So let's bring all the stuff back down here. The reason why I put those 3 dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented in there just perfectly. That dot in the center is your optical center. Imagine that. What is the odds of that? So, this is called a block, or as I like to call them, Jenny from the block. I need to attach these to your lens while it is cutting. This is going to hold it in place in the edger. So I need 2 double-sided adhesive stickers, of which I have here. And before I put those on, I'm just going to let you know that these do make wonderful little horse sounds. Okay, enough of that entertainment. The black side is the sticky side. Let's stick that one on the first block. We're going to do the same thing now for the second block. Let's get that on there straighter. There we go. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. Now on the back, if you notice, there is a magnet, that silver button. It's going to hold it in place in the arm against something magnetical. And Chris will be glad to mention in this video what is the opposite of the magnet that attaches, because he was a chemistry major. He's thinking about med school. So I'm going to attach this magnet to whatever is magnetical that draws that in there. And again, the reason why I put these 3 dots on there, I'm going to get these 3 lined up in a row. If you can see that, the black dot goes in the center. These other 2 tells me that it's lined up in there perfectly. Hit that button, the arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We're going to do the same thing now for the unright lens. Pull the paper away, make the black side sticky, line that magnet up with the corresponding one there. Now your pupillary distance has been mirrored from the right side. So we're going to, at 64, you are the same in both eyes. So we're going to keep that at 32. The optical center is the same. We're going to get everything lined up just perfectly. Hit the button, the arm comes down and places the block onto the unright lens. So this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, get their own, put it on your kitchen counter. Then you can cut your own lenses at home. You won't need this guy anymore to do it for you. So now the magnet is going to do its job a second time. It's going to hold it in place into the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. So the magnet is going to hold it there. Now the actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away the lens material until it's the final size. This wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the V-shaped bevel of your frame. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up the shape onto the computer. That is the shape we are cutting tonight. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, Hindex plastic, or Trivex, I would select that, or a TBD, to be determined later. How about that? Some lens material, futuristic lens material that's going to come out. I'll be ready for you when you do, but for now we're going to stick with polycarbonate. I do not want to polish the edges of your lenses because they're not going to be seen. I am not going to put a bevel on the front surface, the convex surface of the lens. I'm only going to put a bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the night. I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts. And then the lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses to make sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it's going around tracing out the shape that it'll be cutting. And the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once. It's measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the best cosmetic look possible and for the lens to fit into the frame perfectly. Now the cutting wheel is moved into place. If you see light flickering in the background, that is water there to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off of the lens. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic and high index plastic as well as Trivex cut wet. Water will spray onto the lens for the last 20 seconds to wash away any optical debris, also known as schwarf, as you see it starting to form on the lens. And that tells me it's in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. Now you are getting, as I mentioned, polycarbonate lenses. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that you have to reapply every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun there in Chattanooga. This is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. Now the word Chattanooga is an old Indian word, which means the land meets the rivers where the trees line the stony brook and turtles and doves come and everyone greets each other and gets along just merrily. Yeah, I think that's what it means. Okay, so Your lens is actually getting the V-shaped bevel, the knife-like edge, a very dull knife like me, but a knife-like edge nonetheless. Now your lens is going to be so sharp that you'll be able to cut through a piece of wet tissue, providing that you soak the tissue in a bucket of water overnight, and then use all your strength, use the lens to cut through the tissue. You might be able to get through it. So as you can see, the water is spraying on the lens. In just a moment, this little lever is going to come out. At the end of that lever is a spinning wheel, something you would find at the end of a Dremel tool. That's what's applying the safety bevel, just smoothing out the rear surface of the lens. Any rough spots left over from the cutting cycle are going to be smoothed out. Should any bit of this lens protrude from the back surface of the frame onto your cheek, it will be nice and smooth, although with your prescription in this frame, you're not going to have any edge thickness. So in just a moment, I will open this door with my mind. You like that? I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes a couple hours, but I can do it. I just got to keep staring at it and keep repeating, melt. Melt, oh block of ice, melt ye. Okay, so you have a little bit of optical sawdust left on your lens. Can you see this? I peel that off. Ooh, that's nice. I'm going to place it right there. Actually, what I want to do is remove all of it with my thumbnail to where it's on the counter. And once I am satisfied that it's completely off the edge of your lens and on the counter, I carefully wipe it up into one pile, and then I wipe it on the floor. And I tell people, kids, I went to school for years to learn how to make a mess like this, so kids, if you want to grow up and make a mess, you gotta stay in school. So I've tucked the lens in at the outside corner here, and using my thumbs, I press down the nose, it snaps right in. Let's do the same thing for the unright lens. Flip that over to L, put that in, hit start. Just like before, the door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced again by the same two white styluses. Well, off-white. They were cleaner just a little while ago. And you can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the lens. Follow my finger, you are good. And of course, measuring the thickness of the lens to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel, so you have no edge thickness whatsoever. Look at that precise craftsmanship. Have you ever seen such nice work? So let's go ahead and take this block off. I've got to use this tool. We're going to come down here to my dusty and trusty Marco 1 lensometer. The axis wheel is still at 0. We're going to put it in just above that dot and to read the prescription. And as I check it, we're on plus 75, one tick mark away from 1. Now the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, starting at 0 and going up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. You need 3 steps of magnification for your lenses. Why? Because you've studied too much. You've used all your 6 ocular muscles to study and study because you were so smart. You went through school, now you're thinking about med school. See, if you just daydreamed and looked out the window, you would be 20/20 now. But no, you are just ruined, as they say in the South. So you need 3 steps of magnification. That's why there's a plus sign. Your lens is magnified 3 steps. Now, once it's the correct size, you have an additional 4 steps of astigmatism correction. Now, there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P or F. So think of it as the fine-tune knob. Once it's the correct size, we have to take away those fuzzy edges. So we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 180. So let's just check that. We're at plus 75. Let's check the astigmatism correction, and we end up at minus 25, one tick mark below 0 in the red. So if you have plus 75 and then you subtract 1 from it, you end up at minus -1/4. So if you had 75 cents and someone borrowed $1, that's where you would be, 25 cents in the red, 1/4 in the red. Now, your left eye needs 2 steps of magnification, but 3 steps of astigmatism correction, so we're still going to end up at the same -1/4. Ironically, you have the same axis for your left eye, 180. Again, that knob, that fine-tune knob, starting at 0 over here, 90 over here, and 180 over there, 270 at the bottom, but for those of you keeping score at home, but we would turn that knob all the way to 180. This is an arbitrary number, anywhere from 0 to 180. These 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. Of course, I don't think you are that concerned, really. Excuse me, I'm talking myself hoarse. Now, Chris, I want you to open the door with your mind now. Hey, pretty good, Chris. First day on the job and you're getting it right. For those of you at home who believe in telekinesis, I don't. I want you to raise my right hand. Oh, wow, man, that stuff really works then. I don't know why I was so skeptical. Okay, let's make sure all the swarf is off your lens. Now, I happened to meet Chris at Thanksgiving. He was telling me, I was telling him I want to take a chemistry class, and he was all into it because he thought I would be really excited to take it because he likes, hang on, let me think about this, let me get this right. He likes the spatial relationship of carbon molecules. Now, what red-blooded American doesn't like spatial relationships of carbon molecules? If that doesn't get your blood going, I don't know what will. So we're still on the 180. I know, it says 0. Trust me, it's 180. It goes, if you can see, it goes from 160, 170, 171, you know where it's going. When it gets to 179, it stops at 0. So yeah, that's at 180. So let's check that left, put it in above the black dot. Wait, that's not supposed to be there. Just kidding, look at that, plus 50. The kid is good. Let's check the 3 steps of astigmatism correction. We're back again at -1/4. Man, I couldn't make this any better if I had done it myself. So you have pupillary distance of 64. That is if you were starting, how about this being your nose? Starting outward and going outward in 32 millimeters in each direction, you'd be at 64 millimeters. Never done this in a video. Get that centered in there, 34, but don't take this chart for it. Let me flip this over. Pull out my PD stick, press it against my thumb on your right lens, and then we look on your left lens at that center dot, we're getting 64 millimeters. So that is made perfectly. Now, this is the point in every video that as I clean your lenses, I mention that when you get these in the mail, and there's free shipping anywhere in the United States, and the last time I checked, Chattanooga was still in the United States. It had not seceded yet. So when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and because of that, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them, but I'm going to get these in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. So the 3 points are 1, 2, the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and I press down, mine wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. Now, for those of you keeping score at home, I'm wearing the RayBan 2132 color 710, which is the classic tortoise. Also comes 902 as the classic tortoise. But let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing, yo. Flip this over and press down. There is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap evenly and that neither one is askew as I demonstrate. Check the spring hinges. The tension on both of those is just perfect. Now, I also include not only my premium microfiber cleaning cloth, but you're going to get one from RayBan. And I'm going to provide you with instructions not only how to care for your frame and your lenses, but for both cleaning cloths and your case, so those two will last you for years. No one else on the internet is doing that. I also provide you with a selfie request to have your picture on the website. Chris, you hear that? I would love to have your picture on the website. So let's see where we're at. That's it. If anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com or simply click the contact me button on the website. Chris and I've got a smaller flashlight, I just can't find it. But Chris in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription lenses with anti-glare for your RayBan 7017 color 5200 in the 54 eye size. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.